Welcome to the Philly Adcast, informing and engaging the advertising community. Powered by Alchemy X and the Philly Ad Club. Here's your host, Bjorn Henriquez.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Philly Adcast with your host, Bjorn Henriquez, and our guest this month, president of Team Toyota and the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association, Paul Muller. Thanks for joining us this month.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you. I have a whole list of questions here to get to.
Oh, great.
Primarily, we'll get to what we're really here to talk about, and is how you're partnering with the Philly Ad Club to help benefit our younger high school students in the area and provide them with some help and assistance moving forward with their college education. But being as though you've been in the business for over 35 years, I figured you have some wisdom to bestow upon us in terms of marketing and advertising.
Don't put too much pressure on me.
Great. Well, we honored you as a mover and shaker not too long ago. And it's a great speech. You'll be able to see the link in the show notes on YouTube. And one of the things that stuck with me from that, you said, and I quote, "The difference between a successful person and a less successful person is their vision for the future." What's your vision for the future of Team Toyota and the auto industry as a whole?
Well, let's start with the auto industry. I think the future is bright. There's a lot of conversation these days about all the different things that have come up in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Uber, Lyft, ride sharing, which has been around a while, but it's certainly picked up some steam, and different things like that. And certainly in an area like Philadelphia, and there's a lot of places where that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
You live in a city, you don't really want to have a car. So those things are perfect. And there are other places where you live out in the middle of the country. Uber isn't exactly very practical. Right. You want to run to the store and you wait for an Uber and they'll be there in 30 minutes.
Right.
Meantime, you've starved to death. So I think there's going to be pockets of that. Mm-hmm. But quite frankly, people still, I think, have a quest for ownership of things.
Right.
I know more people are renting now than own, and I think that's probably more based on the economics of it than I don't want to own a house or own a condo. Mm-hmm. And certainly a car is much more affordable than that. But there are still those people, and I think it's the majority of people, that when I want to go somewhere, I want to go.
Right. And
I don't want to wait for a ride. I don't want to look for somebody else. I don't want to have to figure out how to work the radio or how to do this or how to do that. So I think those things are wonderful, and I think there's a place for them. But I don't think in my lifetime anyway, although at my age that might not be too long, but in the next 30, 40, people are just going to stop buying cars.
No. And nothing's going to replace. I remember being in high school and couldn't wait to take the driver's exam, couldn't wait to get your first used car, couldn't wait to get that sense of independence. And that ownership of a vehicle represents so much more than just the practicality.
A car itself and a car buying experience, quite frankly, is as much emotional as it is practical.
Right.
People come in, if it was all just practical, everybody drive a Toyota Corolla. Great car,
right.
Inexpensive.
Same color.
Exactly.
Right.
You wouldn't need colors, you wouldn't need models, you wouldn't need people, because it gets you from A to B, and it gets you there comfortably, and you're good to go. Mm-hmm. But people like different colors, they like different interiors. Especially today, everybody, it's all the bells and the whistles. The safety stuff is magnificent because that obviously saves lives and it protects people. But if you don't have Apple CarPlay and this, that, the other thing, and if you can't talk to your car and your car doesn't talk to you, I get in the cars and I can't figure out how to do anything.
Right.
But that's what everybody wants. They use their phone. They use their, the phone plays through the car. We've got automatic stopping and starting, and you can start your car from your bed with your phone, right. And all that stuff. Is great, but that people still want. I still think there's an emotional component, a big emotional component to buying an automobile.
Definitely.
So I think the car business in the long run is going to be fine. Mm-hmm. As far as my business, we have 3 Toyota dealerships, and I have 3 of my 4 sons working with me there. And we're doing just fine. I've had a lot of other dealerships that I bought and sold, and
Right.
and Toyota's been sort of my. It was the first dealership I ever bought 36 years ago, and it's sort of been our bread and butter, and it gives me an opportunity to provide for my family and my sons to provide for their family, and they seem to like it. So we get along. We get along fine. I had worked with my dad. He was in the
finance business, right?
business, set up banks to do business with automobile dealers. So I've been the son working with the father. So now I'm the father working with the son. So it's my kids are in their mid to late 40s. So it's not like we're brand new at this.
Right.
And it's going to be their business. So fortunately they're excited about it, and they do a nice job, and gives me an opportunity to sort of come and go and just criticize and annoy people and then go home early.
Right. So do you think behaviors will change? Like, I remember never thinking certain things would be done online, like banking online. Now you see different options where you can buy cars online. Do you ever see a point where people will be that comfortable to purchase a car online?
First of all, there's a and you have these new things that the Carvanas, and you can buy a car online.
Even like Hyundai or Honda has like a option on their website where you can just purchase
you
car.
You can buy it, but trust me when I tell you, somebody spends $30,000, $35,000, $40,000, $50,000 for a car, they want to look at it. They want to see it, they want to smell it, they want to.
You mentioned that you've been in the business for 36 years. Just like we're looking at a new behavior where we're looking at a path to purchase is different. So 90% of the research is done online before people come into the dealership nowadays.
Oh, sure.
People are more informed nowadays.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that's changing the sales dynamic a bit. But from an advertising standpoint, would you have ever thought that you would have access to so much data and demographic information and just all of this on your customer base?
Absolutely not. We, sort of the joke in the dealerships anymore is your front door isn't your front door. Your front door is your computer. Yeah. Because people go online, they text you, they email you. So it's quite frankly, everybody was afraid that was going to ruin our business. People are going to know what we pay for a car. Quite frankly, it's been exactly the opposite. When the customer comes in, we call it a closing percentage. If you get 100 people in the door and you sell 20 of them, you're 20%, closing at 20%. All right, that used to be a good number, 20, 25. If you closed at 25, you were Superman. Okay, if you don't close today at 50, you're a knucklehead. Because so many people are coming in, they've already done their research. Right. And I'm quoting from somebody else. I didn't come up with these numbers, but 15 years ago or 20 years ago, a person visited either 4.5 or 4.6 dealers before they bought a car. Now it's 1.3 because they sit at home in their pajamas, look at all the cars, look at all the dealerships, read about. Everybody's got a review. Everybody that tells you, this guy's good, that guy's bad. They do all that, and then when they come in, they know the car. They know in many cases, especially the younger people, the model they want, the color they want. They've got a stock number. Right. And it, quite frankly, it cuts out a lot of the malarkey that was, I guess, the car business or any sales organization was famous for years. Right. The bait and switch and this. The price is online. Right. So that's most reputable dealers. That's when you call and you get a price, that's the price. So when they come in, they know the price, they know the features of the car, they know the color, they know and I guess the statistic now is like 85 or 87% of all the people that walk into your showroom have visited your website. Right. Now, it may just have been to get directions, to get a phone number, right. But many of them have emailed and asked questions and got numbers. A lot of them will, make an appointment and come in. Some of them they get all the information and then they just sort of show up. So quite frankly, it's cut out. Hopefully it's shortened from our perspective, it's shortened the buying process because they've started down the road. They've researched the dealership because we used to want to, you tell a salesman, sell yourself, sell the dealership, and then sell the car. Because they can buy the car anywhere. If they don't like you and they don't like the dealership, they're not going to buy the car.
Right.
So online, they've looked at reviews from 53 of their friends and people they don't know.
Right.
They've looked at all the pictures of your dealership. They've looked at all the pictures of the cars. Most dealerships, we do have a picture of every salesman, every manager.
Right.
So quite frankly, they know the guy. They know what he looks like when they're coming in to talk to him. So for us, it's made the process easier. I don't know if seamless is the right word, but it's certainly, people are much more informed. And whoever, I forget who used to do the Cy Sims, men's and boys, an informed consumer is our best customer.
Right.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth, because when you have to explain every little thing, it takes forever. And then why did it take so long? Well, you didn't understand anything. Now they've got all the information at their fingertips, especially young people. They know more about the cars than we do.
Right. So for you, in the you said you sell yourself, sell the dealership, and then sell the car. Do you use advertising as a tool to more so sell the attributes of the dealership, highlight your salespeople? How is your advertising message adapting to that?
We're still selling. We're selling the value of the car. Most OEMs, most manufacturers, and Toyota is the same, have three levels of advertising. There's Tier 1, which is Toyota National. There's Tier 2, which is our dealership association, the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association. And Tier 3 is me. So Tier 1, Toyota's basic job is to tell you all the models they have, all the things the cars can do, show you beauty shots of the car, driving through the country with a good-looking girl.
On a mountain somewhere.
All the things that's where the emotional part of it comes in. Tier 2 is to get you further down the funnel, so that I'm thinking about buying a car, and the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association are here, and here's our locations, and here's the cars, and here's the incentives from Toyota. And then Tier 3, which is me, is to tell you why Team Toyota is the best place for you to buy a car, and here's our pricing, and here's how we do things. And that's when they sort of go online and look at your website. And keep in mind, while they're looking at all those commercials, all the things that we do digitally that we never did when I first got, when you got into the business, or probably 15 years ago. So is there all these people, including me, according to my wife, you're watching TV and you have your iPad on your lap or your phone in your hand, and the Toyota ads are popping up, and when you Google Toyota, or you Google Team Toyota, you Google Camry, and boo, you ask two questions and then you move on. Well, for the next 3 months, every time you turn on your phone, you're trying to find your girlfriend. Here comes a Toyota ad, and it's telling you, it knows what you looked at and what you're interested in, and that's everybody. That's you buy a pair, look at shoes online, look at a house online, look at anything online. They track you like it's like they're like bloodhounds. To answer your original question about it astonishes me, the information that we can get on people, know where they are in the buying cycle, how long they've had their car. Quite frankly, you could figure out, they put all this information together in where they live in the you sort of know what they make. It's scary.
Yeah.
And certain things are certain demographics, age. You target the people based on what you think that neighborhood or that group might be looking for. So you're not wasting those dollars serving up a Bentley to a guy in a one bedroom apartment. So it's amazing. And I don't profess to understand how most of it works, but it does. Yeah, it does.
No, that's great, and it's great to see that that someone like yourself, who's been in the business, who's seen the peaks and valleys, so to speak, or there's the changes that come along, and don't look at it as catastrophic. You look at, okay, how can we use this to our advantage? How can we adopt this? How is this going to make it better for the customer at the end of the day?
To go back to which I quote to my kids all the time, your vision of the future, and the difference between successful people and less successful people. And the ending to that is, you ask a successful person, what are you going to do in the future? They tell you what they're going to do in a year, 5 years, 10 years.
Right.
You ask sometimes, and this is a broad brush, a less successful person, they tell you what they're doing Friday night.
Right.
So those are things that I've tried to live by, because, there are things I don't understand, but I recognize as you look around and you see how things are moving. The river's flowing.
Right.
So you're in a boat, or you can either row against it, or you can just pick up the oars and relax and go with the flow. Exactly. Because it's going with or without you. And I always joke to people, I haven't had an original thought since 1972. I look at what smart people do what successful people are doing, and I do that.
Right.
I don't need the credit.
Yeah, you need the results.
I'm old. I don't need a challenge. I'm looking for a good time. So
right. So I wanted to definitely touch on, lastly but not least, about what you've done in our community here consistently over the years. Some of the philanthropic ventures and partnerships that you've done. You're partnering with the Philly Ad Club again this year to help in the efforts of our scholarship fund. And I just wanted to really have you speak to that and what that means to you and why that's been something you've been involved with for so long.
Okay. First, just so we're clear, that I do those things. I do things on my own for my dealership.
I'm sorry, on behalf of the
That's on behalf
Tri-State.
of the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association. And we're very fortunate. We're made up of 25 dealers. There's 25 dealerships. There's 17 dealers because I own 3 and somebody else owns 2 and somebody else. And everybody sort of has the same feeling on doing things that are philanthropic along with our advertising, our marketing. We recognize that we live in this market. We raise our families in this market. Our employees live in this market, and we want to make sure we give back. So I've been the president of this thing, I think, for 25 years, and we've made some terrific partnerships and friendships. Started with most of the stations that we do, or basically all of the stations we do business with, radio and TV. All the major sports teams in Philadelphia, as I think you know, we do that. We do our Toyota Tundra food drive every year for Phil Abundance, and as I've said 1,000 times, there's not another city in the country where you could get every TV station, radio station, sports team, newspaper, digital group to do something. They all sponsor a truck. And this year I think we did 365 or 375,000 pounds of food and had 75 Tundras. Driving down 95 and Delaware Avenue to deliver the food to Phil Abundance. So on that note, we try to do things that will benefit more than just a few people in the community, whether it's the food drive we do, and a lot of the things we do with our partners. The Phillies have charities, the Eagles have charities, Sixers, Flyers, all the stations have their charities and their things that they're enthusiastic about. So they do such a great job for us and helping us that we feel it's a great way to give back through our partners. So it's not just necessarily the Toyota Dealers Association doing it. It's Toyota Dealers and ABC6, or it's CBS 3, or it's the Phillies or the Flyers or the Eagles. And that makes it, as I said, these people, after 25 years of doing this, are my friends more than just my partners. But, you know, I think it's good for us. First of all, it puts a good light on us, which you certainly want to do. Right. But it does, it helps people in the community. And, you know, as I've said to our guys, I mean, if you don't feel good about that, there's something wrong with you. Right. Because that's really, you know, we're all doing pretty good. And we're very, very fortunate this thing tonight with you know, we're doing the Save a Life of a Child with McDonald's and CHOP, and you know, you see those children and their parents, and you're you know, I'm blessed. You know, we talked about this before, so it's incumbent on us to to give back and see that we can't see what we can do to help other people, and which, quite frankly, makes you feel more blessed because you realize you're not in that position, or that situation. So if you don't get involved, you can just sort of walk by, but it's it's not the right thing to do.
Right.
And quite frankly, it's not the way we want to run our businesses or run our lives.
Right. And the reason why I've joined the boards or organizations I have in the city is because I believe fundamentally that great businesses are the cornerstones of great communities, or even why our country is doing better than some other countries is because we have better businesses than other countries or continents or what have you, and it's always great to see that reciprocity where businesses and business owners see that their place within the community is a lot more than just the transaction between the customer and the business.
Absolutely.
We all have a part to play in this, and it's great to see that, and I'm so happy that you and the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association are partnering up with the Ad Club again this year. We look forward to many years of continued partnership, and I just wanted to thank you so much for sitting down with us briefly and sharing some of your wisdom.
Yeah, I'll talk to my wife about that.
And good luck with everything, and thanks
Thank
again.
you so much. I appreciate
Indeed.
it.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks.
This episode was recorded at Alchemy X. On behalf of the Philly Adcast team, I'm Lisa Leonard. Thanks for listening.